Narrow Margin is here on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, released by Kino Lorber. It can be found as a slipcover edition available at your online retailers. I've always liked a good thriller, especially if somehow they can incorporate it onto a train. One of the things I love about Narrow Margin is its use of shadow and light, conveying atmosphere very effectively. This seems to be a lost art in many filmmakers today, and this particular film does it extremely well. Gene Hackman and Ann Archer put on very solid performances, and the film's tension keeps things interesting for the runtime. I recommend this one highly. Narrow Margin on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray has an aspect ratio of 235:1 with native 4K resolution, but it does not support any form of HDR. According to Kino Lorber, the transfer is the result of a previous 4K scan from the 35mm original camera negative. Source-wise, it's relatively clean, though I noticed a random blemish or hair in the image, but otherwise it looked good. Film grain is medium in density and nudges slightly heavier in nighttime or dimly lit scenes, but never becomes obtrusive. Bit rates typically hover over the 90s for most of the duration. Typically when I review, I watch my 4K discs primarily on my OPPO 203, but as a force of habit, I also tend to check Kino Lorber discs in my backup 4K player, the Panasonic 820. I noticed a bit of image fluttering, which is really noticeable in the first 20 minutes of the film during the blind date and the scene in the hotel room. I then proceeded to throw the copy in my PS5 and play back those exact same scenes, and they were flawless just like on my OPPO during my initial viewing. I fast-forwarded through several parts of the film, and it seemed to lessen as the movie went on, but it's very obvious in the first 20 minutes. I then popped in the included Blu-ray copy and went across those exact same scenes, and they were flawless as well, with no signs of image instability or fluttering. An additional note, the Panasonic is fully up-to-date firmware-wise. Kino Lorber seems to have an ongoing compatibility issue with Panasonic players, which is usually in the form of Dolby Vision brightness shifts. But since there is no HDR or Dolby Vision on this disc, the cause is a bit of a mystery. Who knows if this is in fact a widespread issue with Panasonic players in this particular 4K, but it's just something you should be probably aware of if you own one. If you have a Panasonic player and pick up this 4K, let us know in the comments if you have a similar experience. Now the big question, without any form of HDR, how are the improvements over the Blu-ray picture? Honestly, the resolution bump is nice, but it is nowhere near being a night and day difference in regard to detail enhancement. The style of the film seems to utilize soft focus shots sometimes, so gains in detail are going to be modest at best in those instances. In certain close-up shots, the image clarity is actually really noticeable, such as this one. But once again, going back to my Blu-ray copy, overall it seems marginal. For the palette itself, it often employs a darker tone for the visual aesthetic. Of course, exceptions are the often stunning landscape shots of snow-capped mountains and the green forest the train runs through. Still, these particular scenes look good, but one has to wonder how Dolby Vision may have enhanced these features. With the bulk of the film taking place on a train, colors look natural and, as I mentioned, sometimes employing darker shades. Black levels are rendered pretty strong, as night scenes look very dark with no anomalies or signs of macro blocking. I'm sure the overall disc's encoding helps things along here, but I could spot no real issues. Narrow Margin on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray supports a DTS 5.1 as well as a DTS 2.0 track. Of the two audio tracks, I opted to watch the film in its entirety with the DTS 5.1. I remember this from the previous release being a very aggressive track, and that continues here on the 4K. The initial chase scene from the cabin to the train is full of robust energy from the helicopter and escaping truck. When the action shifts onto the train, whenever there is an outside camera shot, the train engine rumbles along with authority. Surround activity, while somewhat frequent, is pretty static, less dynamic than modern-day audio mixes. Dialogue reproduction is clean and easy to hear from the center with no issues. Once again, low end is very hefty in its delivery and surprisingly active with the aforementioned sequences. I sampled the 2.0 track as well, and it's presented clean and equally robust despite the exclusion of the other audio channels. The supplements included on the previous Kino Blu-ray have made a return, which consists of a pair of audio commentaries, a making of, and some B-roll. The making of featurette is entertaining and insightful, but that's basically the meat and potatoes of the bonus features. There are also some Kino release trailers located on the disc. For the picture quality, I'm going to give Narrow Margin on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray a B+. So, is this new 4K worth the upgrade if you already own the Blu-ray from Kino? Honestly, I'd say no, unless you're a diehard fan of the film. For new buyers, you will get a decent 4K presentation. Just be aware if you own a Panasonic player, there may be some of the issues discussed. For the audio mix, I scored this a B+ as well. The DTS 5.1 is a fun and entertaining track which succeeds in ramping up the tension with good audio design. Owners of the existing Kino release will know what to expect, but it's definitely a satisfying listen. For the extras, I graded them a C. Nothing new as far as bonus content, of course, but if you're new to the title, there's a few things that keep your interest. It's not a huge selection of extras, but what's here is pretty good. So that is my review of Narrow Margin on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray from Kino Lorber. If you're interested in picking up a copy for yourself, I will leave a direct Amazon link in the comment section. If you use it, it really helps out the channel. But if you have the disc already, let me know your thoughts down below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guide 365. I will see you at the movies.